Welcome to my channel on the best of fantasy. This is the week that was. Or perhaps I should start calling this the fortnight that was, because I keep going 2 weeks between episodes of the week that was. But I had a very good reason last week. I was completely exhausted from finishing my grading. And, the good news there is that I am finished, and it is summer as far as I'm concerned, which means lots of reading, lots of writing, and lots of video making. So I am one happy fellow. Yes, and in the 2 weeks since the last episode of the week that was, I had some exciting things happen on the channel. Probably the most exciting was having as my very special guests the brothers Gwyn. Ed and Will were extremely kind and generous to read my first book, The Way of Edan. And that is the first book in the Edan trilogy. And I was so happy and so grateful for their feedback. They just gave the most wonderful feedback that I could have hoped for. They are very perceptive, very well read, and especially well read in some of the influences that are important to me. So it was just a fantastic thing for me to, it just feels good to have someone read your book, but to have someone so informed and so helpful and perceptive as those two are just fantastic. I wish I had been half as smart as they are at that age, but well, you take what you get, right? So that was a great conversation, and of course that was a spoiler-free discussion of my book, which is as yet not published. But we did talk for another 2 hours after that about spoilers and particular scenes and stuff like that, and that conversation was even more exciting to me. And I hope someday, soon, relatively, perhaps everyone will be able to see that one as well. But that depends on other things, which I'll talk about in a bit. So I also did a review of By the God's Ears by Christopher Fly. That was a lot of fun for me to read. I enjoyed the medieval or pseudo-medieval feel of that book that he achieved through his prose and world building, and it was a fun read for me. I enjoyed the French vocabulary he put in there every once in a while, giving it that sort of just a little bit different feel. And I enjoyed the whimsy of By the God's Ears very much. So just a wonderful book to check out, as it's not a very long book, and for me it was a great break from some of the bigger epic fantasy reads that I've been doing, so I really enjoyed that aspect of it very much. And a wonderful kind of folktale-like journey. So great book. And what else did I do on the channel? Well, let's see here. I had a Dear Dr. Fantasy episode with Library of a Viking, and that was a lot of fun. And in the most positive and wonderful ways, it reminded me of my best interactions with my students. And I am a little bit on the older side of BookTube. But I have to say, I really enjoy talking to some younger BookTubers. And Johan is not the youngest by any means on BookTube, but somebody in his mid-20s. Different life experiences, but it also it gives me so much hope when I talk to younger people like Johan and like Ed and Will. Makes me feel energized and hopeful and good about the world, really. So, to talk about people, also talk with people who love books, people in our community. That's why we're all here, right? So we just enjoy bonding over those stories, and that was a really positive experience for me. Plus, his channel, Library of a Viking, is taking off for excellent reasons. He's doing a lot of really great things on that channel. Puts a lot of work into his videos, you can tell, and puts a lot of thought into what he says about what he's reading, and I appreciate that very much. So, great channel. Check it out if you haven't yet seen what he's doing over there on Library of a Viking. I also had another wonderful chat with my buddy Simon Howard, and he and I talked about dogs and fantasy. One of the most, I feel, endearing discussions that I've had on BookTube. And it was such a privilege to chat with Simon about not only a couple of the poems that he had included in his little book, An Ode to the Odd and the Old. That is a great title. But just to get some insights from him, and we talked about dogs in the fantasy genre. Just a really wonderful chat about animal companions and what is I think, one of the most heartwarming aspects of fantasy, that relationship that you can have between a human character and an animal, and what they learn from each other and what they gain from that most important bond. For me, you just can't beat dogs. I think they're just the most wonderful friends that we could possibly ask for. And so it was a really great chat with Simon. And what else have I been up to? Well, let's see here. What am I reading? I've been reading some good stuff lately. I am about halfway through Wolves of the Kala. So yes, I am back in the Dark Tower, back on my way to the Dark Tower with Roland and his quartet. And I am, just as with every other Dark Tower book, I am loving this. I am on the edge of my seat. I am continuously surprised, in spite of the fact that Mr. King keeps spoiling his own books. He's on a roll with this for me. I am loving it. And I was a little nervous going into Wolves of the Kala, because I do feel like even some of the fans of the Dark Tower series, this is the point where you see some divergence, where you see some division of opinions. Some people who love Wolves of the Kala, and then fans of King or even the Dark Tower who say, this was not what I wanted or expected necessarily. So, for me, I'm just, I'm totally expecting the unexpected. Every book so far in this series has been vastly different and from the one before. And for me, that's a great thing. It's just what I seem to need right now is something a little bit weird and bizarre, and King is delivering. Plus, he has such great character work. I really enjoy his insights into humanity. Warts and all, he is not flinching whatsoever when it comes to portraying us in our not-so-glorious moments. And enjoying the continuing bonds between the members of the quartet and the mystery behind where they are headed. So, good stuff. After I finish Wolves of the Kala, I have decided to do something a little different from what I was planning before. I'm going to read Janny Wurts To Ride Hell's Chasm. I am very excited. This is a standalone book that Janny Wurts wrote some time ago, and I want to just pick this up to get a taste of her writing because, as I've been saying for weeks and months, AP and I are going to be, and also Jimmy is joining us. I can't forget Jimmy. So we are going to be doing a read of Janny Wurts' mega series, her masterpiece, The Wars of Light and Shadow. And it is going to be just the main feature of my channel once we get to it. AP and I are going to finish Malazan first, meaning I only have the Crippled God to reread and then Assail to read. And we need to have first, before that can happen though, we're going to have our Dust of Dreams discussion. It will happen. As many of you may know, AP has been struggling with some migraines, some really serious migraines. And I had a chance to talk to him. And he really is getting hit hard by this. So we are, life happens. So we are going to have that discussion once he's able to read again. Because yes, it is that bad. I have migraines myself. And let me tell you, I cannot read a thing when I'm having migraines. I don't have them nearly as prolonged, though, as the form that AP is struggling with. So yeah, that's where it is. So I'm thinking to myself, I want to get a taste of Janny Wurts' writing. And so this is the perfect thing. It's a standalone, and I am so excited to read it, to get a taste of what she can do. But I also have I think I won't tell you the details just yet, but once I have everything nailed down, I will. But I'm very excited. I will give you a little teaser here. I have a discussion lined up for this once it's read, and I am very excited about the prospect of this discussion. So it is not going to be just any ordinary review. It is going to be a discussion video with some rather special people. Uh, yeah, that's all I'll say about that for now. But I'm very much looking forward to my first taste of Johnny Wirtz's writing with To Ride Hell's Chasm. So yeah, that's and after that, as I said, Malazan could happen. It does depend on when AP and I do get to have our Dust of Dreams discussions. But it will happen eventually, regardless. If it doesn't look like it's going to happen after I'm finished with To Ride Hell's Chasm, the next book I intend to pick up will be probably Mark Lawrence's Red Sister in the Book of the Ancestor. And I am very much looking forward to getting into some more Mark Lawrence. So yeah, so depending on how things go, it'll be either Malazan or it'll be Book of the Ancestor. But they'll happen in one order or another. So yeah, I'm excited for all those reads, and upcoming on BookTube, I am going to be appearing on A Critical Dragon. Speaking of AP, he is able to have some discussions still. He is still putting out videos on his channel. Lucky for him, he knows a lot. There's a lot stuffed in that brain of his, so he is still able to have discussions and draw on his vast knowledge of fantasy and science fiction and literature and narratology and all that. So I did have a good chat with him. He was forced to wear his sunglasses during that discussion due to those migraines, but it was just great to talk to him and be with him for a little while. And we had a very, I think, interesting discussion about world building and implicit bias. So I think a topic that can be difficult to talk about, but is a very important one to have, these kinds of discussions, I think, sometimes. At least to me it is. So yeah, so I'll be in that chat on A Critical Dragon at some point in the near future. And I have a chat lined up with Mike from Mike's Book Reviews on Eaters of the Dead, a book that he encouraged me to read while we were having our Beowulf discussion, because that is of course, Michael Crichton's little twist on Beowulf. And I think I'll be watching The 13th Warrior as well this weekend to sort of maybe throw that into the mix as well when I chat with Mike. So I'm looking forward to that very much. That will be happening next week. And another chat with Mike that will be on his channel. And this will include Alan from the Library of Alexandria and Sarah from Sarah Reads. So this is going to be a conversation with the four of us, kind of like his talk about nothing, but it's going to be with four people. He announced this on his channel, but I cannot remember what he called it off the top of my head. But it's going to be, whatever you call it, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very much looking forward to that. That is going to be on Saturday, May 28th, I believe, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So yeah, that is 5 hours behind Greenwich Mean Time. So yeah, that is going to be a blast, I am sure. We don't even know what's going to come up there. So, and I believe that is going to be a live stream, so everybody can come on in and join the discussion. And I have another episode of Dear Dr. Fantasy lined up. I'm very excited for this one. It is going to be Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads, a new papa. Well, he has been a papa already, but now he has another one. So yeah, I'm sure that being a dad might come up during the course of our discussion. And of course, lots of other things, because Andrew and I love a lot of the same series, and some of the series that we love we don't have in common. So that's going to be, I'm sure, a lot of fun to talk to Andrew. And then I'll be talking for another I have lined up. I have the day is going to be with Iskar Jarek. So I'm very excited to have a discussion. It's been a long time since I've had a chance to talk to Iskar, but he is an old friend from BookTube. One of the first individuals I ever had a group discussion with. And it was on his channel. So I think it was the very first time I had a discussion with other booktubers, was probably with Iskar on his channel. And I think it included Alan and also Andy Smith. So yeah, that was back in the day. It was a Malazan discussion, obviously. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And what else is going to be happening here? Well, speaking of Alan, we're going to be getting together on June 5th for a live stream on my channel on the Long Price Quartet, The Price of Spring. We've all finished it. We're ready to talk about it. We have a day and a time, and it is going to be a live stream 2 o'clock on Sunday, June 5, on my channel. And we will begin that discussion with a general kind of why you should read LPQ discussion. So if you're curious and you just want to check it out, we will have a non-spoiler portion to that discussion. And then later we'll get into spoilers about the series, but also very specifically about Price of Spring, Book 4, and the final book in the series. So that is going to be, I'm sure, a lot of fun. And I think that's about it for stuff that is coming up on the publishing front. Just a little tidbit for you today. I am very excited to say that the pitch is coming. Actually, we were going to do it. My agent was going to make the pitch for my books for the Edan trilogy this week. We decided to hold off to get a blurb from one more very important author. So we are going to be doing it very soon, though. That particular author is getting through the book 1, very fast. So I think it'll be happening as soon as that blurb is in, and boom, we will see what happens. In the meantime, I am happily starting to do a look through of book 3, which is all written. I'm going to do a little revising, a little tweaking here and there, and then hopefully I will have the opportunity to have AP look at book 3 this summer and help me to get his eyes on it. Really is a great thing, and I'm sure he will be able to help me tweak it here and there as well. So yeah, but that's what's happening in my little life, and I'm very excited to be talking about some of these books with you guys and sharing news with you. And I just want to thank you all for being there and for supporting this channel and for being my friends. So thank you very much, and until next time.